Minesh Baxi here, and I'm the author of books like Stop Hiring Losers, Million Dollar Team Secrets, Network Your Way to $100,000 and Beyond. I've been a business coach for 23 years, but the role that I really enjoy the most is parenting. And somebody with whom I have so much in common, we have so much fun together. We don't see each other as much as I would like to, is my good friend Moose. Moose, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. You are a great friend. We just live on opposite sides, you know, of the states. You're all the way in Florida and I'm all the way in Seattle. So,
Well, do you know Greg Anderson? He came down to visit Disney, and I was able to grab lunch with him last Saturday. Was it
oh,
Saturday?
nice.
Him and Tiffany.
Great guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
great,
guy. Yeah,
great guy.
yeah. So obviously, if you want to come down to anything that is offered in Disney or Universal Studios or maybe some of the beaches in our area, it'll be fun to have you, Dana, and the rest of the family. So it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
just
So
just timing.
I know, I totally get that. I totally get that. It's just that people use kids as an excuse to come to Disney. So that's the reason I.
Yeah, that is true. It's a good excuse.
Yeah, so I want to start off with the story that you shared on the Facebook about your daughter turning 18. And obviously, uh, these are big moments for us. You've been working hard as a parent for a long time with a lot of focus. So do you want to share your story about that?
Yeah, well, this particular story you're talking about is my daughter turning 18. We normally go to Cabo the day after Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday. So we leave Friday morning and we go to the following Sunday. So we go for 9 days. And my daughter's birthday is in December 10th. So she came to me earlier this year and said, "Hey, Dad, can we push our vacation back a little bit? Because my birthday, I want to celebrate my 18th birthday in Cabo and have my first legal drink, which is fine, which is great. And of course I'm going to say yes because I think it's when you have a relationship with your kids and they actually want to have a drink with you, that just means like what, they enjoy hanging out with you. And that was the whole purpose of, like, I felt so honored to have her ask me that. But I've always been talking about, hey, when you guys turn 18, I want to take you guys to have a first drink. When you're 21, I've already, started setting it in their minds that, hey, I want to take you to your Vegas so you can celebrate your 21st birthday with you. You can bring your friends and everything too, or whatever, but I still want to be able to enjoy Vegas with you when you're 21 and start paving the path of, like, want to spend time. And I've learned that from my mentors. And also now that my mentor, his daughter turned 30 and she had a whole party and she invited her parents, and then her parents bought like a party van so she could party with her friends and everything too. So just a path of, like, hey, you know what, I want to hang out. I want the kids to feel comfortable asking me to hang out.
And I think that's what is important because a lot of people, and I'm not blaming them, I'm just saying the society we live in, Moose, is quite often that parents work 9 to 5, and it's hard work, obviously. Sometimes they have to work weekends and everything else. And somehow they feel that the schools and the community is doing the most of the parenting. And you and I have a little bit different opinion. You are very proactive in making sure you have a great relationship with your children, but you're also very keen on influencing them in certain areas of life, like finding the rock star parking spot as an example, right? Okay. And people who don't know about that, Moose can explain that in his own way. The bottom line
Yeah.
is that you're always trying to influence your children about skills they need for life. Is that fair to say that?
Yeah, I mean, I only have a certain window or a certain amount of window that they will keep taking my influence, and I just having to decide which way do I want to do it. And I mean, I think a lot of it's been driven by, my dad was never really in my life, and I had to go out and reach out and find other people who I highly respect and see, how they raise their kids. And you gotta, for me, as I'm fortunate, I have a lot of great mentors, but I kind of just pick and choose what I want to get from my mentors. And even with you, right? It's like, you work with your daughter and your son, and they're home and you guys spend a ton of quality time, but you're picking and choosing how you want to teach your daughter too, right? And every child is different and they have different personality types. But I think at the end of the day is, it's choosing.
Exactly, making it a priority. So looking at your children as an example and the kind of values you want, what would you say some of those values are in terms of living life, developing skills for career, for example, and including money, because those are all important areas. So I would love to have you share your ideas on what you're doing to influence your children.
I think, one of my biggest things I'm doing, which is consistent, is I'm just really teaching my kids about what their one job every day is. And I have a one job every day, and everybody is just being happy, because sometimes we lose track of the importance of happiness. And so I always remind them, if you're happy, if you can figure out how to be happy every day, or choose to be happy, right? Even just listening to the radio, then you'll know that you can manifest faster. So I'm teaching my kids how to manifest, but you can't. It's harder or more challenging to manifest what you want in life if you're not happy. Okay, you're going against the grain. So I'm teaching my kids how to, one, be happy, just on a regular, and two is, the game of manifestation. Teaching my kids, like my youngest one, and well, now I have an 18-year-old, but I got a 11 and a 16-year-old. And one of the things I'm teaching right now is that the younger one is how to make decisions. Okay, so you got to be a fast decision maker, right? Instead of always asking for people. That's one of the things I do, is teaching them how to make decisions and let them make the decisions. Versus, as a parent, a lot of parents just like to make decisions for them because it's easier, and we think we know it all, but we don't, because we're just learning as much as they are.
Yeah, and I think one of the skills, in fact, the most important skill you and I can teach our children is decision-making skill.
Yeah,
And I've broken it down to a couple of points, and I've learned a few tough lessons in the last couple of years because I forgot one of the components, and I'll explain that in a minute. So, in my opinion, decision making comes down first to courage. If you don't have the courage to make a decision, you won't make a decision, which means you are going to let things happen, right? And
right.
obviously, we need to have a clear value system that children and all of us need to abide by. It's like, hey, here are the reasons. And the other part, which I think is what I'm learning, well, two things. One is execution, right? If you can't
Yeah,
execute, you lose confidence in your skill. But the last one, which I've learned, is always evaluate different options plus the worst case scenario and the best case scenario, and be okay with both of them before you walk into a decision. And that has been a lesson that I have had to learn a little bit more hard in these last 2 years, just because I found ways that I did not have skills that I need to go develop. Is that making sense to you what I'm talking about? Right?
no,
Okay.
I love the fact how you said courage is a big deal, and letting them, you got to have the courage. And then I like how you said best case and worst case scenario, right? Teaching them how to evaluate. And I think for kids, well, one, I have all girls, and one of the biggest things I've done for years now is, and originally I paid them to do it, but they still do it, is they write down. I don't know if you have this for your kids, but I have them write down in a journal all the things they've accomplished in their life, from brushing teeth to learning how to ride a bike. And I paid them to do the first 100. I gave them $100 each. And the reason why is because, we all have self-worth issues at all ages. I don't care how rich you are. We all have some kind of issues. And I don't want my kids, I don't want to have, I don't want to say when they grow up and have partners or their bosses or whatever, I don't want them to feel like they're being tested about their self-worth, because they can go back to their journal. And I think when you said the word courage, this is going back to self-worth, in my opinion, is that, what, I know I have the courage to make the decision. I know I have I've accomplished all these things in my life.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And I think you've been a good role model, good example. And what I love about you is you're also authentic, so open, and you're willing to be very engaging and helpful to people. You're a fun guy to be around. And I wish we spent more time together because
Yeah,
I
me
really,
too.
I really agree with you on I really agree with you on so many things, but more important is you're just a fun guy, right? So I know you have been very smart about teaching them about different skills. Let's talk about specifically choosing a career, and then obviously how do you influence them about money?
Yeah. Choosing a career, I'm not really talking to them about career. I am talking about career stuff, but the truth is I want them to choose what they want. Of course, I'm in real estate, and would I love for them to be in real estate? Sure. But I think what I'm trying to do is, in my opinion, one of the hardest things in the laws of attraction is called the law of allowing. Okay, because we always want our kids to do what we're doing or be successful, whatever success means. But I'm just being allowing. Like my oldest one, she's had lots of injuries, and so she wants to go to school to be a personal trainer, something in body, because she's had a lot of body issues, physical issues and so forth. And I was like, that's fine, you know. But I do know, at some point in the back of her head, subconsciously, real estate will always be in her head. Okay, because she's around a lot of real estate, and while we're hanging out, we're talking about investing and flipping and rental properties and passive income and so forth. So I just learned in life from one of my mentors, it's not a game of either or. She can have both. If she wants to go to school for kinesiology, great. She can go and be a trainer in the NFL or the NBA, but she can still own a lot of rental properties and still make a lot of passive income. It's okay.
Well, Mark McCormick, do you know Mark?
Matt
California.
or
Matt
yeah, yeah, yeah,
McCormick.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Matt McCormick, sorry about that. And I interviewed him last Friday, and he has a plan for his children to be involved in real estate, though they may not be in career in real estate, and which is very similar to what you're talking about. And if people, those who haven't watched Matt McCormick's video, should go watch that video, because I will tell you, he talks about specifics that how he's currently doing, because his children are much older than yours, so they can do a few things that an 18-year-old can't. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because they have an income stream which is much bigger. But the point is that what you're talking about is it doesn't have to be either or. You can combine both, because at the end of the day, you can have a career that you enjoy, but you can also have opportunities to create income stream through other means, including real estate. And I think you're doing a great job of teaching that as well. What
Yeah.
other key points would you like to share with our audience, people who are watching, the parents who are
Um.
to,
y-
obviously raise their kids to the best they can?
Yeah. I mean, I'll just share a couple of things that I'm doing with my kids that I find helpful and short term, long term. Um. I always when we go on a trip, thing I talked to you about before. We all use the iPhone, but when we get to the airport and after we're checking in, we're waiting for our to hop on board. We always write down what's the perfect vacation. Okay, so we write it out, and one of the kids will write it down what's the perfect vacation. And we always say free upgrades, rock star parking, perfect health because you can go to vacation and get sick, right? So we're just teaching them how to just what's the perfect, okay? And so we write down a whole list, and they already have things they want to do on vacation. Like, when your kids go to Disneyland, I'm sure they know exactly where they want to go to, right? So they know. And but you guys have worked towards the perfect, what ride and all the stuff and how much to spend. And um so then after the vacation, we have our list. We actually, after we check back in, we download and we see how many of it that we actually hit of the perfect vacation. So what we're trying to do is I'm constantly trying to raise their belief system that manifestation happens, even if we find a penny on the street. And then we write down all the things that happen on our vacations so they can go back to that vacation and remember the vacation, all the fun things that we've done together as a family. And, that's one of the things that we do. I write down, I tell them all the time, how do you spell love? And for a lot of people, they spell it Love, and I spell love Time. And so my whole life has been about my work schedule has been, and it's all about, it's been about my kids and my spending time with my family. That's how I base my lifestyle based around what my kids want to do because, they're going to grow. And, my boss says it goes from happy hours to happy meals, from happy meals to happy hours before you know it. And now he's back to happy hours because he has grandkids. So, so that's what I really focus on. As for business wise, now she's 8, my daughter oldest is 18. I'm actually looking to, she has a little bit of money. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to try to take her money and we're going to try to buy her a multifamily investment property while she's in college. I'll manage it for her. and then so she can start, real estate. I'm such a believer in real estate. Over time, you're always going to make money, right? It's going to double and increase. And so what we're going to do is, Dana and I were going to buy her a property now. And so hopefully by the time when she's 38, she's going to have multiple properties that are paid for. But in the next 4 to 5 years while she's in college, right, we'll manage it for her. But now she'll know we've given her some responsibility that she's going to manage it after she's out of college. And so she doesn't have to depend on when we die to get our properties. So she'll have her own investments. And, so she'll be able to leverage it and, start having peace of mind that, she has her own assets.
Well, very smart thinking on your part, and a lot of people who are watching, listening, they should start looking at it and saying, okay, how can I help my children? Because in most cases, as they are thinking about, they're usually focused on, okay, if I send them to school, college, they get a degree, they'll be set for life. But what you are telling is you are setting them up for life, regardless of what school, college they go to, because you have your own expertise, but you're also teaching them responsibility about long-term wealth to be accumulation of wealth. And that's a fantastic lesson. And I really commend you for what you're doing for your children and how you are helping them.
Yeah, just we're gonna do it, but I mean, it's as long as it's fun, and that's what I care about, just having fun and doing it with them instead of for them, is the it's the journey, right? I just want them to enjoy their own journey, and that's why I don't care about what they're gonna do. I'm gonna let them figure that out, and because I want to keep living my journey, right? And I'm clear on my journey, and they're either gonna keep coming on, but I'll tell you now, right now, as they're getting older, is I'm trying to make sure that my vacations are really nice, because I want them to still come on vacations with mom and dad even after they have their own family. I want to have their own kids. Like, if mom and dad's paying, yeah, they want to keep coming on vacation. So the goal is to, want them to keep hanging out. And, that's just my plan. Everybody's different.
I think all of those are good points, which is about memories, right? And one of the reasons that, we've been to Disney World over 200 times, especially when my daughter was age 12 to, I would say, 17, is to create those memories, right? And if you create those memories, they can have them for the rest of their life, right? And they can look back.
I think you're doing more than that. Not just the memories that you're doing, but I think what you're doing is you're helping them create their happy place.
That's true.
And you're helping them figure out their blueprint, because no matter what happens after they're married or whatever, they know, with or without you, when they go to Disney World or Disneyland or theme parks, it's just going to bring them joy and peace of mind. Like, what, this is, I'm trying to, it's like we always talk about compound, and, you're building these compounds of what happiness is. And that's the most important thing as we're spending time. And, sometimes they may want to go by themselves. Like some people go to the movies by themselves because that's their happy place.
I agree with you totally. So two things. Number one is obviously any last thoughts. And when people are looking for buying, selling real estate, or looking for investment advice in your area, how can they get hold of you? So let's start with any last thoughts, and then how to contact you.
Yeah. Any last thoughts is, kids don't really care about anything else. They're not materialistic. They just want you to spend time with them. And the question is, what kind of quality time do you want to spend with them, right? And, are you so busy trying to teach them, or do you want to just have fun with them? So there's a fine balance, and it's really important that you know that. So that's it. Just spend time with them. That's all they care about. And stop taking yourself so seriously, because that's important. And then I think I'm located in the Seattle area, so, and we do a lot of backyard cottages and so forth, and investments and regular for the traditional real estate. So if you want to get hold of me, look me up. My name is Moose Math, or look at the Moose Group. Easy to get a hold of, and not just call Minesh, because you know what, he knows how to get a hold of me too. But for me, we just like to help people. It's I'm way more about giving and than taking. That's for sure.
You are, definitely. You give a lot of joy to a lot of people, including me, and I've been privileged to call you a friend. And it's always a special moment when I spend with you. So you are somebody who is high up there in terms of having fun, enjoying life together. So thanks again, Moose, for taking time. I know you wanted to go out and have lunch with your wonderful children. I wish you the best, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. Yeah, let's catch up soon too, my friend.